The people who love you might not understand narcissism. Now, listen, I need you to hear me with both ears and the part of your spirit that still got common sense. Because what I'm about to tell you might be one of the most important things you hear while you are trying to piece yourself back together from a narcissistic relationship. The people who love you, the people who care about you, the people who call you, text you, check on you, bring you food, and pray for you, they may love you with a genuine and deep love, but they may not understand what you have been through. And that right there, that gap between their love and their understanding can feel more lonely than the abuse itself sometimes. Because you are standing in front of somebody who loves you, trying to explain the most confusing pain of your life, and all they can do is look confused, impatient, or like you are speaking a language they never studied. Some of y'all have been trying to explain narcissistic abuse to people who think trauma bonding is a cable package. Yeah, right. You are sitting there with your family, your friends, your church members, your coworkers, people who have known you for years, and you are trying to tell them what happened, and they are looking at you like you are making it up or overreacting or stuck on somebody who did not even deserve a text message in the first place. They see you hurting over a breakup and they think, well, everybody goes through breakups. But what you went through was not a regular breakup. That was not just a relationship ending. That was psychological warfare with a person who had the power to make you question your own mind. You have been targeted, trained, blamed, drained, and then shamed for bleeding. The thing is, your loved ones are not trying to hurt you. Most of them are not mean people. They are scared. They are confused. They are tired of watching you hurt. They do not have a map for this territory, so they are giving you directions from a place they do know. Regular heartbreak, regular relationships, regular pain. But narcissistic abuse is not regular. It is not like dating somebody who is mean or selfish or unavailable. It is not like a normal breakup where two people tried and it did not work out. This was systematic. This was intentional. This was somebody studying you, learning what made you feel safe, what made you feel loved, what made you feel seen, and then using all of that to control you, confuse you, and convince you that your own mind was the problem. Your loved ones see the breakup, but they do not see the brainwashing. They see you crying over a person, but they do not understand that you are detoxing from a psychological prison. They think you missed the narcissist when really your nervous system is trying to survive the withdrawal from someone who had you on an emotional yo-yo for months or years. Your body got trained to react to their presence, their texts, their apologies, their promises, their sudden cruelty, their love bombing, their devaluation. Your nervous system learned to live on high alert, always waiting for the next explosion, the next betrayal, the next time they would tell you they loved you right after they told you that you were crazy. And now they want you to just turn that off, just get over it. Baby, that is not how trauma works. You have been twisted, dismissed, love bombed, and emotionally enlisted. Let me tell you what rumination is, because your loved ones probably do not understand why you are still thinking about this person weeks, months, or even years later. They think you are choosing to obsess. They think you are being dramatic. They think you are holding on when you should be letting go. But rumination is not a choice. Rumination is your brain trying to solve an impossible emotional crime scene. It is your mind replaying conversations over and over because nothing made sense. The narcissist gave you pieces of a puzzle from 5 different boxes and then blamed you for not finishing the picture. They told you they loved you while they ignored you. They said you were the one for them while they were talking to somebody else. They promised you a future while they were already planning to discard you. They made you feel like you were crazy while they were the ones being cruel. So your brain keeps replaying. Your brain keeps asking questions. What did I miss? What should I have done differently? Was there a sign I ignored? Could I have saved this? What if I had been different? What if I had known then what I know now? Your mind is trying to make sense of the senseless. Your brain is trying to find the logic in the illogical. And no amount of somebody telling you to just stop thinking about them is going to make that stop. You cannot logic your way out of a psychological trap with willpower and good intentions. That is not how the nervous system works. That is not how trauma bonds work. That is not how rumination works. They love you, but they do not have the language. I need you to understand something about the advice that people give when they do not understand what you have been through. You just need to get over it. Over it. Like getting over something is the same as getting over a curb. Like emotional recovery has a finish line you can just walk across and then you are fine. That is not how it works. Getting over a narcissistic relationship is not like getting over a bad meal or a rude comment from a stranger. It is like recovering from a car accident. Your whole body is hurt. Your nervous system is damaged. Your sense of safety is shattered. You do not need to get over it. You need to heal it, process it, understand it, grieve it, and rebuild yourself around it. Stop thinking about them. This advice is garbage wrapped in good intentions. Do you think you are thinking about them because you want to? Do you think you are replaying conversations in your head at 3 a.m. because you are choosing to be stuck? No, you are thinking about them because your brain is trying to process something that does not compute. The narcissist made promises they did not keep. They were one person in private and a different person in public. They said they loved you while they were hurting you. They made you doubt your own perception of reality. That does not process easily. Your brain is not going to just turn off because somebody told you to stop. Just move on. Move on to where? Move on with what tools? Move on with a nervous system that is still responding to their triggers. Move on with a heart that is still trying to understand why someone who said they loved you was comfortable watching you fall apart. Move on does not account for the fact that you are not actually stuck on that person anymore. You are stuck on trying to understand how they could do what they did. You are stuck on the psychological mechanism of it. You are stuck on the trauma of it. You have been praised, played, delayed, and then left trying to pray your way out of a maze. Now, let me talk about some of the specific advice that people give that sounds good on a coffee mug, but does not touch the wound. You saw the signs. Oh, you saw them? You saw the signs? Baby, a narcissist is good at hiding the signs until they have you too attached to leave. They're good at love bombing you so hard that you do not pay attention to the small moments where they said something mean or controlling or dismissive. By the time you see the real signs, you are already bonded. You are already trained. You are already confused about which version of them is the real version. The version that looked at you like you were their whole world, or the version that looked at you like you were nothing. Both were real. Both were intentional. You are not blind for not seeing it earlier. Why did you stay? Do you know what it is like to be asked why you stayed, as if staying was a choice you consciously made every single day? As if every morning you woke up and said, yes, I choose confusion today. Yes, I choose pain today. Yes, I choose to stay with someone who is slowly eroding my sense of self. That is not how it works. You stayed because you were trauma bonded. You stayed because they were using intermittent reinforcement. You stayed because they made you believe that if you just did things the right way, if you just tried harder, if you just understood them better, everything would be okay. You stayed because leaving felt impossible. The narcissist had convinced you that you could not live without them, that nobody else would understand you, that you were too damaged for anybody else to want. Those are not choices. Those are consequences of being psychologically manipulated. You're too smart for that. This one right here. Yes, smart people get caught by narcissists. Genius people get caught by narcissists. People with PhDs, people with successful careers, people with good sense and clear minds in every other area of their life, they get caught by narcissists. Because a narcissist is not looking for stupid people. A narcissist is looking for empathetic people, loyal people, people who have the capacity to love deeply, people who will keep trying to fix things even when things are broken beyond repair. Intelligence does not protect you from a deliberate psychological attack. It actually makes you a better target because you can articulate your pain, you can see patterns, you understand yourself well enough to know that something is wrong, but you still cannot quite figure out what it is. You have been charmed, harmed, alarmed, and then punished for raising your arm. Everybody goes through breakups. Yes, everybody goes through breakups. But not everybody goes through a relationship where somebody deliberately studied their vulnerabilities and then weaponized them against them. Not everybody has experienced a discard where the person they love suddenly acted like they did not exist. Not everybody has felt the whiplash of being love bombed and then devalued and then love bombed again until they could not tell if they were going crazy or if the other person was. A regular breakup is sad. A regular breakup is disappointing, but it is not the same as being psychologically abused by somebody who claimed to love you. Just block them and be done. If only it were that simple. If only healing was as easy as blocking a number and deleting their pictures and unfollowing their accounts. But blocking somebody does not unblock them from your mind. Blocking somebody does not undo the neural pathways they created in your brain. Blocking somebody does not stop you from checking the blocked account with a different profile because you just want to make sure they are okay, or you just want to see if they moved on, or you just want to know if the new supply is getting treated better than you were. Blocking is necessary. Blocking is important. But blocking is just the beginning of the work, not the end. The fastest way to get over somebody is to get underneath somebody else. Be serious. This advice is dangerous, and I'm going to tell you why. When you are trauma bonded, when your nervous system is dysregulated, when you are still ruminating, when you are still grieving, when you are still confused about what happened, jumping into a new bed with a new person is not healing. That is just taking an unhealed nervous system, an unprepared heart, and a confused mind into a new attachment. Now you are not healing from the narcissist. Now you are potentially transferring your pain onto somebody new. Now you are using another human being as a painkiller instead of doing the actual work of understanding what happened to you. Healing is not about replacing the person. Healing is about recovering yourself. They care about you, but they do not have the map. You need to get back out there. Where is out there? Out there where you are still triggered? Out there where you are still checking your phone even after you block them because some part of your nervous system is still waiting for them to contact you? Out there where you see their name in your messages and your heart still jumps? Out there where you hear a song that reminds you of them and suddenly you are back in that car with them, back in that conversation, back in that moment where they said something so hurtful it still has not healed? Out there is not ready for you yet. You are not ready yet, and that is okay. Maybe you are overthinking it. Maybe I am, but also maybe I am not. Maybe I'm thinking about it the exact amount I need to think about it in order to understand what was done to me. Maybe I am analyzing it because for months or years, the narcissist made me question my own analysis. They made me distrust my own mind. They made me wonder if I was reading too much into things, or if I was being too sensitive, or if I was remembering conversations wrong. So, yes, maybe I am thinking about it. Maybe I am analyzing it. Maybe I need to do that in order to rebuild trust in my own perception. That is not overthinking, that is recovery. Maybe they did not mean it like that. Do you know what that statement does? It invalidates the hurt and gives the person who hurt you the benefit of the doubt while taking it away from the person who was hurt. Maybe they did not mean it like that. Maybe they did. Maybe when they said you were crazy, they meant it. Maybe when they ignored you for 3 days without explanation, they meant that too. Maybe when they told you that you were too sensitive or too needy or too much, they meant every word. We do not get to decide what their intention was. We only know what came out of their mouth and what we felt in response. And if what came out of their mouth hurt us, then it hurt us. Intention does not erase impact. You have been ghosted, roasted, hoovered, and posted like you were the problem. Both of y'all were toxic. Sometimes two people are not equally toxic in a relationship. Sometimes one person is abusive and the other person is just reacting to the abuse. I know what reactive abuse is. I know that narcissists are very good at pushing you until you explode. And then they record your explosion and they show people your explosion without the context of all the pushing that came before it. So yes, maybe you yelled, maybe you cried, maybe you got angry, maybe you said things you regret. But that does not make you toxic. That makes you human. That makes you reactive. That makes you hurt. You were not toxic. You were broken on purpose. You need closure. This one right here is so dangerous because it makes survivors think that closure is a gift the narcissist can give them. It makes them think that if they could just have one more conversation, one more explanation, one more chance to express themselves, then they could heal. But closure does not come from the narcissist. Closure comes from you. Closure is not a conversation where they finally admit what they did and apologize sincerely. Closure is understanding what happened, accepting that you may never get the apology or the explanation you deserve, and deciding to move forward anyway. The narcissist may never give you closure. They may go to their grave denying everything, blaming you for everything, and painting themselves as a victim. And you cannot wait for them to give you permission to heal. You need to forgive and forget. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is not pretending it did not happen. Forgiveness is not letting them back in. Forgiveness, if and when you get there, is for you. It is so that you stop carrying the weight of their actions around in your chest. It is so that you can be free of the resentment that is poisoning you more than it is affecting them. But forgiveness does not mean you invite them back to the table. Forgiveness does not mean you give them a second chance or a third chance or a 1,000th chance. Forgiveness does not mean you stop protecting yourself. Forgiveness and accountability can exist at the same time. Stop letting them have power over you. This one is the most infuriating because it suggests that you are still giving them power when really they are just occupying space in your mind that your trauma gave them the keys to. You do not have the power to evict them from your own thoughts. Your nervous system does, your healing does, your understanding does. You cannot think your way out of a trauma bond. You cannot willpower your way out of rumination. You cannot positive affirmation your way out of grief. You have to feel it. You have to process it. You have to let your nervous system recalibrate. And somewhere in that process, they will gradually lose their power. But that does not happen because you decided to stop thinking about them. That happens because you did the actual work. You have been drained, trained, restrained, and then called crazy for explaining pain. Now, let me tell you something about the feelings you have not told anyone about because you are ashamed. You have not told anybody that you still check the blocked account with a different profile because you want to see if they are happy or if the new supply is getting the better version of the narcissist or if karma is finally catching up to them. You have not told anybody that you get physically sick when you see a car that looks like theirs. You have not told anybody that you were driving to the grocery store and a song came on and suddenly you were back in that moment with them and you had to pull over because you were crying so hard you could not see the road. You have not told anybody that you wake up at 3 a.m. replaying conversations and you have corrected what you said in your head 1,000 times and you have imagined them finally understanding you and you have scripted out what you would say if they ever reached out again. You have not told anybody that you feel embarrassed for missing them. You have not told anybody that you are angry at yourself for going back. You have not told anybody that you are angry at yourself for apologizing when they hurt you. You have not told anybody that you asked yourself, how did I fall for that? How did I let that happen? How did I miss the signs? You have not told anybody that part of you wants them to know how much they hurt you. Part of you wants them to feel the pain that you have felt. Part of you wants them to regret losing you. Part of you wants them to realize what they gave up. And if you had those thoughts, you are not a bad person. You are a human being processing betrayal and loss. You have not told anybody that you are trying to reconcile two versions of the same person. The version that looked at you like you were their whole world. The version that made you feel so seen, so understood, so loved, so safe. The version that talked about a future with you, that made plans, that said forever. And then the other version, the version that was cruel, dismissive, manipulative, cold, calculating, and more comfortable watching you suffer than doing the work to understand you. Both versions lived in the same body. Both versions were real. Both versions made you fall in love with them. And your loved ones cannot understand how you could be confused about that, because in their experience, people are mostly one way or the other. But narcissists are not. Narcissists are complicated in the most destructive way possible. They want you free, but they do not understand the cage. That cognitive dissonance is real. That is not you being confused. That is not you being weak. That is you trying to reconcile two versions of a person who was deliberately trying to keep you confused. The narcissist was not inconsistent by accident. The inconsistency was the point. The inconsistency kept you trying to understand them, trying to earn back the version that loved you, trying to prove that you were worth the version that saw your value. The narcissist had you on a psychological yo-yo, and you are still feeling dizzy. Let me tell you about what happens when the narcissist gets angry at you for reacting to the things they did to you. They betray you, and then they get mad at you for being hurt. They lie to you, and then they get mad at you for not trusting them. They ignore you, and then they get mad at you for being needy. They triangulate you, and then they get mad at you for being insecure. They embarrass you in public, and then they get mad at you for being sensitive. They hurt you, and then they get mad at you for limping. They set the house on fire, and then they accuse you of sweating. The narcissist does not just commit the crime. They write the report, play the victim, call the witnesses, and somehow you ended up on trial. Court dismissed. This is where some of y'all have had loved ones say things like, well, maybe you could have handled it better, or maybe if you had not reacted like that, or maybe you were not listening to what they were saying. You were listening. You were listening the whole time. You were listening to them tell you that they loved you while they were hurting you. You were listening to them blame you for their behavior. You were listening to them deny things you know happened. You were listening to them rewrite the history of your relationship. You heard them. You heard every word. You just also felt every wound. You have been baited, berated, isolated, and then told you were too complicated. Now, I need to talk about something that not a lot of people understand, and that is that some narcissists will have no problem seeing you in jail. Some narcissists will have no problem seeing you unemployed, seeing you isolated, seeing you humiliated, seeing you publicly ruined if it helps them maintain control, punish you, or get narcissistic supply. They will provoke you until you react. They will push your buttons until you explode. They will record your reaction. They will call you unstable. They will get other people to witness your reaction. And then they will play innocent. They will say they never did anything and you are the one with the problem. They will go to court and present themselves as the reasonable one while you are the unstable one. They will get a restraining order against you. They will make sure everybody knows that you are the dangerous one. This is not hypothetical for a lot of people. This is real. This is living in fear that one more reaction is going to be the one that gets you in legal trouble. This is worrying about custody. This is worrying about your job. This is worrying about your reputation. This is understanding that the narcissist is willing to sacrifice you, blame you, destroy you if it keeps them in control. And your loved ones may not understand the depth of that fear because they have never had somebody that calculated, that willing to destroy them, that comfortable with lying in front of a judge to make sure they win. There is something I need you to know about the people involved in your discard, the people who treated you different, the people who pulled back, the people who judged you. A lot of them never did anything to you. You never hurt them. You never lied to them. You never betrayed them, but they were willing to hurt you anyway. And that is because the narcissist had been telling a story. The narcissist had been talking bad about you for a long time. The smear campaign did not start when you left. It started during devaluation. You just did not recognize it at the time. You just noticed that people were acting strange. You noticed that people who used to be close to you were pulling back. You noticed that people were treating you different, like you had done something wrong. You asked yourself, what did I do? Why is everybody mad at me? And the answer was you did not do anything. The narcissist did. You thought people suddenly did not like you. No, baby. They had been fed a whole Netflix series about you, and you did not even know you were the villain in season 2. These flying monkeys, these people the narcissist used to speak against you, they may or may not know the truth about the narcissist. Some of them might suspect, some of them might know. But they made a choice to believe the narcissist story and act on it. They made a choice to hurt you. That is their responsibility. You cannot control that. You cannot make them understand. You cannot make them apologize. And your loved ones may say, well, you should not let it bother you. Those people were not really your friends anyway. And they are right. They were not your real friends. But it still hurts when people you cared about turn on you based on lies. Now, let me talk about something that a lot of you have wondered about and never said out loud. When you stop reacting, when you stop arguing, when you stop begging, when you stop explaining, when you stop feeding the narcissist emotionally, the narcissist needs somebody else. They need someone to regulate them, to blame, to use, to charm, to drain, to control. So they find new supply and they move to that new supply fast. And from the outside, it looks like they are happy. It looks like they moved on. It looks like the new supply got the better version, the version that loved them the way the narcissist wanted to be loved. But that new supply inherited the same storm with newer packaging. That new supply is about to experience the same love bombing and devaluation cycle. That new supply is about to be studied, trained, blamed, drained, and shamed. And I want you to feel something about this. I do not want you to feel happy about it. I do not want you to be celebrating someone else's suffering. That is not healing. That is just spreading the poison. But I do want you to understand that the new supply is not getting the better version. The new supply is getting the same version. The narcissist did not suddenly become a good person because they left you. The narcissist is a leopard that does not change its spots. It just puts on new camouflage for new prey. And eventually, the new supply is going to feel what you felt. Eventually, the new supply is going to be discarded. Eventually, the new supply is going to be confused, hurt, and wondering why someone who said they loved them was comfortable watching them fall apart. You were not obsessed. You were trying to understand why somebody who said they loved you was comfortable watching you fall apart. So do not waste your energy on the new supply. Do not check their social media. Do not wonder if they are happy. Do not imagine conversations where you try to warn them. They are not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to yourself. Your responsibility is to get your mind back. Now I want to talk about the way out. And the way out is not what most people think it is. It is not revenge. It is not proving to everybody that the narcissist is a bad person. It is not convincing the flying monkeys that they were wrong about you. It is not waiting for the narcissist to have a moment of clarity and apologize. It is not stalking their social media and watching their life. It is not checking on the new supply. It is not waiting for karma to strike them down. The way out is indifference. Indifference is when your spirit stops answering spam calls. Indifference is when you stop reacting. Indifference is when you stop checking. Indifference is when you stop wondering. Indifference is when you stop hoping. Indifference is the moment you realize that this person does not have the power to hurt you anymore because you have taken your power back. And indifference wounds the narcissist more than anything else you could do because a narcissist needs access. They need reaction. They need you to care whether they are suffering or happy or thinking about you or moving on. They need to be the center of your attention in some way, even if that way is negative. But when you become indifferent, when you stop feeding them, when you cut off their supply, they lose all their power. They lose access. They lose reaction. They lose attention. And a narcissist cannot survive without those things. So they may try to hoover you. They may reach out with an apology, a sob story, a new promise, a new threat. They may call from different numbers. They may get other people to contact you. They may show up at your job or your home. They may post things that they know will trigger you. They may send you messages designed to make you react. All of that is desperation. All of that is proof that you are doing the right thing. You have been tested, bested, neglected, and then expected to act unaffected. Do not break. Stay indifferent. I want to talk about karma in a way that is real and grounded and not just spiritual bypass. You may never see the narcissist's karma. You may never know what they are suffering. You may never see them face consequences, but they have already faced the biggest consequence, and they may not even realize it yet. They lost access to someone who genuinely loved them. They lost someone who cared, tried, prayed, explained, forgave, waited, and showed up. That is the consequence. That is the karma. Losing you was part of it. Losing access to your love, your loyalty, your vulnerability, your willingness to see the best in them. That is already happening, whether they recognize it or not. Every person the narcissist meets from now on will be different because they will be more guarded, more afraid, more mistrustful because of what the narcissist did to you. The narcissist created that. The narcissist has to live with that. That is karma. And you do not have to wait to see it. You do not have to keep checking to make sure it is happening. You do not have to celebrate it. You just have to understand that the universe has a way of making sure that people who hurt others end up more alone. People who use others end up with no real connection. People who lie end up not being able to trust. That is not you doing it. That is them doing it. That is the narcissist doing it to themselves. I need you to understand that you were a victim of narcissistic abuse. That is not weakness. That is not a shame. That is a fact. Something happened to you that should not have happened. You did not deserve it. You did not cause it. You did not ask for it. You were victimized by someone who had a disorder and the willingness to abuse you. That is real. That happened. Do not let anyone shame you for acknowledging that. But you are also a survivor. The abuse happened, but it does not get to be the end of your story. You are still here. You are still breathing. You are still learning. You are still healing. You are still growing. That is survival. They blame you and somehow you ended up on trial. But court is dismissed. And survival means that you get to rebuild. You get to ask for help. You get to find therapy. And I am not talking about just regular therapy. I am talking about trauma-informed therapy. I am talking about a therapist who understands narcissistic abuse, who understands trauma bonds, who understands that your reactions make sense in the context of what you experienced. Therapists and psychologists are necessary, especially trauma-informed ones. But sometimes you also need to sit with people who have been through it and can say, oh, I know exactly what that was. I have been there. You need coaching. You need education. You need to learn the language of narcissistic abuse so that you can understand what happened to you. You need to learn about trauma bonds so that you can understand why you feel drawn to go back. You need to learn about rumination so that you can understand that your mind is not broken. It is just stuck in a loop that the narcissist created. You need to learn about reactive abuse so that you can stop blaming yourself for your reactions to the abuse. You need to learn about smear campaigns and flying monkeys so that you understand that their judgment of you is based on lies. You need education. Education is part of your healing. And there are resources everywhere if you know where to look. Every city has some kind of recovery group, support circle, domestic abuse resource, church group, online community, or healing space where people are learning how to get their mind back. If you cannot find coaching immediately, there are enough people online teaching about narcissistic abuse, trauma bonds, rumination, and recovery. Learn from people who have actually been through it. Follow this channel, follow other good channels too. Do not be ashamed to be learning. Do not be ashamed to be healing. Subscribe to this channel because without you, we cannot keep building this healing community. When you subscribe, comment, and share, you are not just helping me. You are helping somebody else find the words for what almost broke them. You are helping somebody understand that they are not crazy. You are helping somebody feel less alone. You are part of the healing. When you watch my video on how to end rumination in 30 days, you are taking a tool that could change your life. When you watch my video on breaking the trauma bond, you are understanding the mechanism of what happened to you. And understanding is the first step to freedom. You have been blamed, shamed, framed, and then told you were the one who changed. I need you to do some specific things to protect yourself while you are healing. First, go no contact if you can. No contact means no text, no calls, no emails, no checking their social media, no indirect communication through other people, no responding to hoovering attempts. If you have kids together or you have to see them for legal reasons, then go low contact. Low contact means you keep communication brief, factual, unemotional, and about the children or the legal issue only. You do not share your life. You do not ask questions. You do not engage. You keep your distance. Block them everywhere. Block their number. Unfriend them. Unfollow them. Block them on social media. Do not follow them with a different account. Do not check their page. Do not wonder how they are doing. Do not look at their pictures. That is feeding the obsession. Every time you check, you are resetting your nervous system back to high alert. You are reminding your body that this person matters. You are teaching yourself that you have not moved on. You have to create distance. You have to make it hard to check. Stop looking at the new supply of social media. I know you want to know if they're happy. I know you want to see if the narcissist is treating them better. I know you want to see how long it lasts, but every time you check, you are stealing from your own healing. You are using energy that belongs to you on a situation that does not. Let go, mute, and avoid triggers. If certain songs trigger you, do not listen to them yet. If certain places trigger you, avoid them for a while. If certain people trigger you, do not spend time with them. If certain times of year trigger you, that is okay. Plan something different. You are not weak for having triggers. You are healing. Triggers are normal. Management is wise. Work on your nervous system. Your nervous system learned to live in a state of dysregulation for months or years. Your nervous system learned to be on high alert. Your nervous system learned to be afraid. Your nervous system learned to wait for the next blow. Now your nervous system needs to relearn safety. That takes time. That takes practice. That takes breath work. That takes exercise. That takes rest. That takes consistency. Your nervous system does not care about your thoughts. Your nervous system cares about your body. So move your body, dance, walk, do yoga, do anything that makes your body feel safe again. You were not weak. You were wounded. You were not stupid. You were studied. You were not crazy. You were confused on purpose. Keep a journal. Write about what happened. Write about how you feel. Write about your realizations. Write about your anger, your sadness, your fear, your hope. Do not edit yourself. Do not worry about being coherent. Just let it out on the page. Your journal is a safe place. Your journal is evidence. Your journal is proof. Your journal is healing. Learn to sit with uncomfortable feelings without acting on them. When you feel the urge to reach out, do not reach out. When you feel the urge to check their page, do not check it. When you feel the urge to send them a message, do not send it. Sit with that feeling. Let it pass. Your feelings are valid, but your actions matter. Your healing depends on you choosing to do things that serve your recovery instead of feeding your obsession. Rebuild your sense of self. The narcissist convinced you that you were the problem. The narcissist convinced you that you were too much, not enough, too sensitive, not sensitive enough, too needy, too independent, too hard to love. None of that is true. You are exactly who you are supposed to be. You are allowed to have needs. You are allowed to have boundaries. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to be exactly as much or as little as you are. Rebuild that. Get to know yourself again. Remember who you were before the narcissist. Remember who you want to be after, and give yourself time. Healing is not linear. Some days you're going to feel like you have made so much progress. Other days you are going to feel like you are back at the beginning. That is normal. That is healing. Do not get discouraged. Every day that you choose yourself over the narcissist is a victory. Every day that you do not check their page is a victory. Every day that you show up for yourself is a victory. Celebrate those victories. You have been charmed and disarmed, promised and discarded, loved and lied to, and somehow you still have the capacity to heal. I want to leave you with this. You are not broken. You are not damaged beyond repair. You are not unlovable. You are not too much. You are not the problem. The narcissist was the problem. The narcissist will always be the problem because the narcissist does not see themselves as the problem. That is the narcissist's problem to live with, not yours. You were not weak. You were targeted by someone who was good at targeting. You were not stupid. You were studied by someone who was good at studying. You were not crazy. You were confused on purpose by someone who was good at confusing. But now you are learning. Now you are healing. Now you are laughing again. Now you are sleeping again. Now you are eating again. Now you are remembering what it feels like to be you. And when a survivor can laugh again, baby, the narcissist has already lost. The narcissist wanted to destroy you, but you are still here. You are still standing. You are still healing. You are still becoming. Subscribe to the NARC OPP. Comment and tell me about your healing journey. Share this video with somebody who is still trying to explain their pain to people who do not have the language. Go watch my video on how to end rumination in 30 days and breaking the trauma bond, because your mind deserves freedom, not reruns. Your nervous system deserves regulation, not re-traumatization. Your heart deserves peace, not punishment. Your spirit deserves to soar, because your mind is not a prison. Your heart is not a crime scene, and your future is not in that narcissist's hands anymore. You took your life back. You took your mind back. You took your power back. And that narcissist cannot touch you anymore. Court dismissed. Welcome home.